he decided that the way he was going to teach about the cruelty of the ship was through interactive roleplay, in which he was the ship's captain and the kids were, as he referred to it, the cargo. There is no off-ramp for this story, so just strap in. Which meant that one day he just walked into class, he started yelling at us. He went, everyone get in the corner right now. And then he turned off the lights and he went, nobody move, nobody talk. And then he turned the lights back on and he went, all right, everyone, go back to your seats. And he said, I'm sorry if any of you got scared, but I just wanted to show you what it's like to be forced to go somewhere you don't want to go. And then he looked at us and he went, not so fun, was it? Over the years, people have asked me if I thought he ran this lesson by other teachers, and I don't think he ran this by anyone. I think if he had run this by a 100-year-old Alzheimer's patient, they would have had a moment of lucidity where they were like, hey man, too far. Truthfully, after the lesson happened, I kind of forgot about it. Until a week later when Mr. M came into class, and he had a very different demeanor than he normally had. And he walked to the front of the classroom and he went, all right, everyone, I have an announcement to make. Today is going to be my last day teaching you. Turns out that someone complained about the lesson that I taught last week. It even lied to the principal and said that I threw a chair at a student. And then he said, I'm not mad, but I just want to know who did it. And then he started walking around the room. And he walked up to this girl sitting in the front row named Ariana. And he went, Ariana, someone in my first period class thinks that you did it. And she got very defensive. She was like, I didn't do anything. I didn't talk to the principal. I didn't talk to my parents. I didn't talk to anyone. And then Mr. M looked at the class and said, by show of hands, who here thinks Ariana did it? And slowly kids started raising their hand. 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids. I raised my hand, not because I thought Ariana did it, but because I knew if I didn't have my hand raised, then I could be the target of his question. And he said, well, Ariana, looks like everyone in class thinks that you did it. Because of you, I am losing my job. I am going to have to sell my car. I'm moving back in with my parents. And then Ariana starts crying. She is bawling her eyes out. She is inconsolable. At which point, Mr. M goes back to the front of the classroom and he says, I have one more announcement to make. And then he goes, today will actually not be my last day teaching. And then he goes, this was all a lesson on what it was like to be a woman during the Salem witch trials. He went, look at how quickly you all turned on sweet Danielle. How whipped up you got by the fear and hysteria. He said, I hope you all leave this class with a newfound appreciation on the dangers of false accusations. I got home from school, my parents were like, what did you learn today? And I was like, you're actually gonna wanna sit down for this. So I realize now that I should have at the time known something was up. I didn't know this as a 15-year-old, I know this as a 31-year-old, that when they fire a teacher, they actually don't let them stick around for the rest of the school day. And they certainly don't let them interrogate the students on which one of them got him fired. And I was so curious if Mr. M was still teaching this lesson this way that I decided to send him an email. And to my surprise, he did get back to me. He said, Jonathan, so nice to hear from you. What a blast from the past. I Googled you and see you're doing stand-up comedy now. Haha. Hope you're not talking about me on stage. I no longer teach 10th grade history. I do AP geography now, but I shared the lesson with the teacher who backfilled me. I don't think she uses it. I'm not entirely sure how she teaches the slave trade, but I believe she just shows the students a movie.